Welcome back to the journey. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Monday vlog. I know a lot of you love the dogs. The dogs are all doing good. There's Max right there. Chubb's laying there on the floor. Mickey Mouse right above. And of course, Lazy Butt Minnie Mouse. So, I know I have not done a Sunday Monday vlog in a while. And yes, look at that beautiful woods, woods, woods. I don't have to worry about looking at houses. I don't have to worry about looking at people. I get to look right outside. Yes, the trim's not done around the windows. Yes, the trim's not done around the doors. And before I get too far, let me make sure I can fix the live chat so that way if I get messages in, I can see it. Took me a little bit to figure out they've got a new way to do the live stream to make the videos horizontal instead of vertical. I don't know why YouTube keeps changing stuff and making it more difficult. I don't know why they want you to be vertical. I guess they don't want you to watch it on TV or a laptop or desktop or what have you. They want you stuck on your phone. Anyhow, so what's been going on? Not too much. Drinking coffee again. First cup in a little bit. Some big changes happen. Not big changes, but some changes. I have some updates. I've had people message me, checking to make sure I'm still alive, make sure I'm still kicking, make sure I'm doing good, see if anything's changed, see how animals are doing, so on and so forth. All the animals are doing their thing. Just had to go spray everybody down yet again with the fly spray, the Endure fly spray. It's a horse fly spray, but I use it on the cows, the camels, the horses, the donkeys. It's $100 and some a bottle now for like just less than a gallon. Bit expensive now, but the flies are getting really bad. The heat's been up there cranking. The hot tub has been cranking. It was 106 degrees in the hot tub today. I have it set at 101, and that shows you just how hot it was with heat index baking the sides of the hot tub and just radiating inside and heating up the hot tub. So just so much stuff going on. So I'll give you a little bit of tour in here on a little bit of changes. We all saw I put the windowsills in. I just haven't done the trim around. You can see the spray foam inside there. Now behind the spray foam is silicone caulk on the outside. Then I did the spray foam, and then I'll do the trim pieces later. So that way everything is super airtight, as sealed as possible. So that way my AC doesn't have to run as much. It still runs a lot with this heat, but I wanted this place as insulated as possible. This fall, once it gets cooler, I'm going to go ahead and get underneath the shed. I'm going to insulate the floor of the shed. And then I'll have to get the AC unit pulled out the window in here and bring in the blue flame heater. I got to figure out where I'm going to put the blue flame heater in here and get ready for winter. Luckily for some of you, you're going to be burning wood. I won't have wood stove in here. I just don't have the space between the stuff that I have in here, the 4 dogs and me. Just not a lot of space. So I'm going to do a propane blue flame wall heater that I had in the shed when I first moved out here. So I did buy some snake plants. For those of you that don't know about snake plants, NASA did study stuff. They take out bad stuff in the air. They produce a lot of oxygen. So you can be in a sealed room with, I think it's like 18 or 21 medium-sized snake plants like this, and you could actually survive in there because they produce enough oxygen. So with the 4 dogs, the confined area, the confined space, and we all know dogs smell a bit. It helps. It helps a lot. So that, and I have fresh air in here since I made the shed so sealed up. You know, like I said, with silicone, spray foam, everything else. Made sure everything's as close to airtight. Now, of course, that's my big air leak right there, the dog door. But I got snake plant in that window, snake plant in that window. Got snake plant in that window. And then I just bought one of those essential oil diffusers. That's made a huge difference in here with smell. So that smells really nice. And then snake plant in that window. Nothing in that window because that's the AC window. So I don't have area to put anything. But that's a nice little diffuser that I just picked up. Going forward, updates on everything else. Hot tub, solar, animals. My plans going forward, is this back to Sunday, Monday vlogs? Or Sunday, Monday vlogs disappearing after this one? Is the channel staying here? We're going to find out. So, I'll just go down the line. Hot tub has been amazing. If you live off-grid, I highly recommend a hot tub. Whether you do a wood-fired hot tub or you do what I did, I bought a on-demand hot water heater, a propane one, so I could do that. Turns out I don't even need to do that because my solar is strong enough and I produce enough power that I can run the hot tub enough hours of the day in order to get it to where I want to have it. And then, of course, with the heat today, got up to 106, and I'm not even heating the hot tub. That's just the outdoor weather here, cranking the water up in temperature. It's a big game changer for those of you that haven't lived off-grid, and for those of you that have lived off-grid, might not know and do know, water is one of the hardest things off-grid. If you don't have a constant water source, if you don't have city water or rural water or a well, it's very hard to have water unless you do rain catchment. And then we all know, like Colorado, where it was illegal to collect rainwater, now I think you can collect up to like 55 gallons in Colorado. So you have a bunch of states and cities that, rain is free, it comes from the sky, but yet it's illegal for you to capture it, to be able to consume it, to be able to live on it. It's the way the world is going. But rain catchment is a big thing. Living off-grid, for those of you that haven't lived off-grid, don't understand the struggle with water unless you have a good source or you have a lot of roof. This small shed roof is not a lot of roof to collect a lot of water, especially if you live like Colorado or desert where you get even less water. Here, I probably could get by fairly. However, when you take a shower off-grid, that takes up a lot of water. And I found out with a hot tub, the water's in the hot tub. Yes, eventually I'll have to put some more water into the hot tub. But it's got a filter system, and I'm able to hop in it every day after doing stuff around the homestead, get all sweaty, get hot with the humidity, get sticky, hop in hot tub, clean off, filter takes care of it, you're not wasting water. So for those of you that are off-grid, that are taking short showers, spacing showers out, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever your water basis is, I recommend you get a hot tub. I personally, I bought a new hot tub because I wanted to know that the filter system worked. I wanted to make sure the jets work because that's a big thing for my neck and my back. But I mean, you can pick up hot tubs and just have it as a shell and then buy a new pump and stuff like that. I don't want that headache. I don't know how all that stuff works. Yes, you can YouTube it. You can figure it out just like I figured out a lot of other stuff. But we all know as homesteaders, we have enough on our plate. So not only do I have to water the animals, I have to haul the water for the animals to water them. I've got to feed them. I've got to take care of the dogs here. I've got to work on fencing when it cools down. I want to get gardens in my house, a million different projects. So to get a used hot tub to take up more time, and like right now in this heat, there's no way I'm out there working in the heat. I'm in here in the AC, just relaxing, bouncing back and forth from the hot tub. Thursday, I was in it four times in one day. I'm averaging 2 to 3 times a day hopping in the hot tub. It makes a big change. Like I said, not only are you saving water, if you don't have access to water like me, unless I drive over to the restaurant where I'm still doing my laundry and stuff like that because I don't have water here. And I still have the restaurant, thankfully. Thankfully and not thankfully. It'd be nice to have the money to start working on the house, but at the same time, it's nice that I still have a place to do laundry, because if restaurant sells, I'm driving all the way up to Harrison to do laundry. And that's going to become a pain in the butt when that comes to fruition if I don't get things done here first. So that's my piece on the hot tub. Yes, it's been wonderful. Yes, I'm using it. No, it's not. I bought it. I'm not going to use it. It's working. As for the solar, let's talk about solar. I've had a lot of people asking about my solar. I've had people asking, with the hot tub, how I'm going to run the hot tub. A little bit of hot tub with the solar. I'm running the hot tub on sunny days. When we have full sun days, I turn the hot tub on about 1 o'clock and I shut the hot tub off at about 4 o'clock. Those few hours, or sometimes out to 5 o'clock, sometimes starting as early as noon, depends on when my solar's at 100%. If it's not at 100%, I'm not plugging the hot tub in. But I found that the hot tub is so well insulated because I bought one that's completely one-piece plastic shell, and then it's all spray foamed on the inside, and then I have the insulated cover that goes on top. So it's not dropping dramatically. What I'm seeing overnights, and our nights are only like down to 76. So it's not like we're getting cold nights yet. But it's only dropping 1 or 2 degrees from when I shut it off to when I go out. Sometimes I go out at 1 o'clock in the morning and hop in the hot tub, and it's only like 2 degrees cooler. I think the most we hit like a 69-degree night, and I think it dropped 3 degrees. So the solar aspect, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I'm able to get enough hours in, and it's only a 110 hot tub, 110 volt hot tub. It's not a 230 or 220, whatever it is. The big wire, big breakers and all that. So it's just plug and play. So all I did was right over here, go into the solar now, is I just ran a 3-strand wire. This is wire that I had for my well pump wire in Colorado at the ranch. I had a big spool left over, so I just went through, put that in. Hot tubs, the bottom breaker here, as you can see, it's off right now, so that won't run unless I go out there. The solar sitting at 94%. Let's see. Sitting at 94%, and that's because got my lights running. I have the fridge, freezer running. I have this as a main freezer running. I've been watching my big screen TV there. I've been watching my On Patrol Live, and then I turned off AC unit so I don't have all that noise. And then also I have the diffuser going, all these lights going. The inverter on the solar system runs, so that takes up some power, and just regular stuff like the coffee maker, just make coffee. So things that are plugged in, they all eats power. So the most power I've drained so far on the system with the hot tub. Now, when I go out at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, or 8 o'clock at night, or whenever I hop in the hot tub that it's not sunny, I'm burning a lot of power because it eats up a lot of power because the heater turns on. I use the jets on full blast, and I think that's like a 1 horsepower system or something. So it eats up a lot of power. I drain my system down to, I think, 51%, which is not bad. Steve said he took his system down to, I think, 26 or 27%. So he said, I'm way off from getting down to where it's sketchy. Power-wise, solar-wise, for those of you that are thinking about doing solar, I know there's a million channels out there that talk about solar and a million channels that tell you go solar. I'm going to tell you right now, you do not want to go solar if you have access to cheap electricity. And what I mean by that is, for the power company to bring power all the way across the homestead, and then all the way down, and then all the way up here to the mountain where I'm going to build my house, where the shed is sitting right now. was going to be $68,000. So I would be spending $68,000, and then I would be having a monthly payment, and that gets expensive. Solar, I do have, because for those of you, well, nobody knows because I haven't done a Sunday Monday vlog. See, I'm already kicked back into the Sunday Monday vlog mentality. So the beginning of this month, went ahead, the last 2 batteries for the solar system, I went ahead and I put the last 2 batteries on my credit card. The batteries won't be here for a month to a month and a half, but I have the batteries ordered. They're going to be coming. So now that I bought those batteries, I've got $25,000 into my solar system. Now that does not include the big solar rack. So what I mean by the solar rack, for those of you that don't know, is that big wooden frame that I built there. One of my subscribers donated by calling up Home Depot and ordering materials, and paid for all the woods, the bolts, the screws, and all the hardware. So that is not included in the $25,000. So I have $25,000 now that I bought these 2 batteries, invested into my solar system. So why do I say don't buy solar? Because that sounds cheap. $25,000 versus $68,000. Well, when you're in a circumstance like me and you're so far away from power, yes, power is very expensive to come out. So when it's expensive like that to come out, then it's worth buying solar, because I would spend $68,000 and have a monthly bill. Now the solar, because I'm not attached to the grid, I don't get government rebates. Everybody looks at these government rebates and these tax credits and all this stuff as, oh, I'm going to get $15,000 back on my solar. Well, guess what? The $25,000 I bought on solar, I bought it. I paid for it. The government gives me no money for it. They give me no tax credit back for it, because I'm not giving back to the grid. I'm not being part of society. What are you doing, Mickey Mouse? If you had paid a company to do your install, it would have been at least double as well. Yes, and that's another thing, Fringe Recall, which I was getting to. So with solar, you're not just using power. With the power company for the $68,000, if a transformer goes out, they're paying for it. If wires burn up, they pay for it. If they need a new electric plant, they pay for it. For power, batteries die, you got to buy new batteries. Inverter goes up, you got to get a new inverter. Hailstorm happens, takes out all your panels, you've got to buy all new panels. Now, as Fringe Recall just said, which I was coming to, is the only way solar is feasible is if you live far enough out, like I do, where it costs so much money to have power brought out to you. And that's about it. If you're close enough to power, it's cheaper to have the electric grid. It's cheaper to have the monthly bill. On top of that, when you hire a solar company to install, which I didn't have Steve, if I didn't have Steve, I was looking at $58,000 to $72,000 to have my solar system put in, which would have put me close to the electric grid. And that's Mickey Mouse over here wanting attention. Plus, I had to do all the work. So for that $68,000 for Entergy to bring the power back, I've got to clear the trees. I've got to make the pathway. Then, on top of that, you give up your land, because they have a 40-foot from dead center, 20-foot one way, 20-foot other way easement through your property. So you lose a lot of your property by doing that as well. So if you're a techie person and can figure out solar, you can save $20,000, $30,000 on installation if you know what you're doing. What's up? How has Arkansas weather been this summer? Are you ready for winter? Joe Doe, the summer is warm right now, but it is extremely less hot than I've ever seen it. As we've seen through all my videos, going all the way back from when I first lived here in the shed, taking the dogs down to the river because it was hot, to when I was dating Carla and we were going to the river because it was hot, and me starting a snowball stand because it was hot just to get out the weather. This year it's been super cool. I posted some on Facebook on July. July was in the 70s for like a week. So this year is super cool. Winter, however, I think winter might be bad this year because last winter was easy. Steve moved out here to Arkansas and he got an easy mild winter, and he's had an easy nice spring and a very easy summer. So I believe since this will be his second winter, he's going to realize what Arkansas is really about. But Arkansas has been treating me good. So back to the solar aspect. If you can figure out how to do solar yourself, which I don't recommend. There's a million videos out there. Yes, you can learn. But I'll tell you one thing. That right there, $1,500 for the inverter. You cross the wrong wire and blow that thing up, you're out $1,500. Steve tells me, you know, it's not as easy to mess things up, but I believe it is. The batteries, $1,400, $1,400, $1,400, $1,400. Let alone these metal bars here. Go ahead and touch those together, and you're going to have a major problem as well. So, with all the different things in solar, yes, you can go on YouTube. You can try to learn how to put solar systems together. I wasn't going to do that. I know I built a 2-story house. Never had any knowledge of building. Never went to shop class in school. Never did any of that. I learned how to build. May not be the prettiest. Same thing in here. You know, this ain't done. It's not finished. You know, it's as pretty as I want it for now. I'm comfortable in it now. But yeah, I won't mess with solar. So if you have to hire a company, you have to hire a company. But to get to the basis of it, I do not recommend solar unless power is that much more to get to you. If you live in town or you live, you know, a quarter mile from the power line, it's better to attach to the power line. The batteries, I think, only last like 12 to 15 years. So in 12 to 15 years, like I said, I got 2 more batteries coming. So 6 batteries times $1,500 a piece. That's $9,000 in batteries. Plus you pay freight and taxes and all that type of stuff. So say about 10 grand in batteries. So every 12 to 15 years, if I don't mess the batteries up, if lightning doesn't hit the shed and kill all the batteries, or hits the solar panels or something, you know, if something like that happens, I'm out $10,000 just in batteries alone, not including the wires, not including the combiner boxes and the solar panels, inverter, everything else. But I'm dead in the water. What do you do? With electric company, if power goes down, normally they have you up within a day. If it's a natural disaster or something, normally they got you back up in a few days to a week, sometimes 2 weeks. Like here in Arkansas, I've seen some bad places that been out for a couple weeks. But that's on their dime. They're paying for all the disaster that struck their equipment. If you get solar on your own, you're responsible for it on your own. It comes out your pocket. Now, if you're hiring these solar companies that come out and put solar on your house and you get the government rebates and all that, you're paying on it for next 20, 30 years or whatever the contract is. Yes, you're getting some of the money back, but they're making the money off you because all that power that, you know, you're putting into the system, they're getting for free, and you're paying all this money to the system to try to save money on solar. So it's kind of a flip flop on what you should or shouldn't do. Uh, did you sell the restaurant house? Are you at your cabin full time? No, the restaurant is still for sale. As everybody pretty much knows, the market is down, or with the interest rates up, the market's just sitting pretty much. So I haven't had any more calls on the 20 acres here at the homestead I'm trying to sell. The restaurant hasn't had any calls that I know of, and the ranch out in Colorado still is on the market. So, no, unfortunately, nothing sold. That's why I'm still here in the shed. But yes, I've been here in the shed since I think it was, I believe, either March or April. I don't remember when I moved in full time. Now, of course, I was driving back and forth to bathe at the restaurant, and I still go back and forth to do laundry. But now that I have the hot tub, it's so nice. Such a benefit having that hot tub. I'm getting every penny out of it because I don't have to get in the truck when I'm hot and sweaty and then drive over to the restaurant and then go turn the water on and then wait for the water to fill up and do all that and then hop back in the truck and then drive all the way back over here again. It's pain. So it's so nice not doing that. And then your next one was Arkansas is the only state in America where it's illegal for foreign countries to own farmland because of the governor. Yep, that. Well, I want to say Montana because I know somebody that went up to Montana was saying that they were doing, the governor up there starting to do part of that in some the towns in Montana. So I don't know if Arkansas. I know Arkansas is big on. They're taking the farmland, everything else back here. So that is a good thing. Can't afford groceries or gas anymore, so no one's buying houses at these interest rates. Yep. And that's the thing, everything is starting to tumble a little bit, and everybody's scraping by and doing what they're doing. And that's all we can do. And that's like me. I don't have a house, don't have running water. Why? All my money is tied up in properties, plus paying mortgages and everything else. Now, a couple other updates. This month, I got my graduation of the J.G. Wentworth debt settlement program I was in for all that credit card debt I was in. Now, I only have one other debt settlement thing I have, which bumps from $50 to $150 a month because I'm out of J.G. Wentworth. So even with me canceling it out, J.G. Wentworth, I was paying $331 a month. So I'm basically saving $150 a month now, even with that bump up. So that will help keep my credit cards paid down, keep paying the credit cards off. And then, like I said, I've got batteries coming in, the hot tub's here, and I think that's it on the new stuff. And then, like I said, the different snake plants and the diffuser and stuff like that, just simple things. Going forward, or the animals. Everybody's been asking about the animals. Animals are doing good. No new babies right now. The flies are bad. The camels have bumps all over them. Like I said, buying that expensive fly spray, try and keep the flies off the animals. The heat is not as bad, but the animals don't like the heat either. So Caesar's been loving the water as I haul it up there. I thought I was going to run out of water. If we had a regular hot year, I would have ran out of water in the back of the homestead. So one thing I got to do before next summer is try to get another pond liner or try to get a pond somehow. Yes, flies are terrible. The good thing is we had that cold July, and that's like backed off all the ticks. So the sea tick population spiked for a minute. I was covered in sea ticks in part of July, and then it got cool and it like shut everything down tick wise. I haven't had any issues with ticks since then. I get a couple of them here and there as I'm outside doing a little bit of stuff, cleaning up dog poop and moving stuff and walking the dogs, things like that. But I'm not as much outside because, like I said, it's too hot for me. I'd rather sit in here in the AC and relax with these dogs. Because as you can see, there's some happy dogs. Right, Max? Yep, Max is a happy dog. Chubbs, Mickey, and Minnie. And that's all they do. They're like, it's too hot outside. You can see the doggy doors right there. They can walk outside anytime they want. And where are they at? They're in here. Why? Because of the AC. Going forward, or one last update was something I never thought I'd do. I went and filmed the beauty pageant for our county, for Searcy County. For those of you that saw that video, I had a couple people ask, am I changing my channel around? No, I'm not changing channel around. The director of the Searcy County Fair asked me to do that because it's never been filmed before. And since I'm doing this stuff for the community, asked if I would film that. Unfortunately, they had music sound playing in the background, so my video got demonetized. And of course, it's got 300 some views or whatever, and it would have made me like 5 or 6 cents. Not a lot of money, but hey, it would be nice to make a little bit money for driving out to Leslie to do that. But yeah, it got demonetized because of the music in the background. But that's why I did that. Never thought I would ever be at a beauty pageant, let alone filming one. But yeah, you know, something I never thought would happen. Going forward, Sunday, Monday vlogs, no, they're not coming back quite yet. I just threw this one in because I've just been excited. I had the hot tub. I'm not having to drive to the restaurant. Life is grand. Yes, it's still, like I said, no house, no running water. I'm stuck in the shed. Not really much to do besides air conditioning, hot tub, air conditioning, hot tub, going to town, shoot pool, so on and so forth. When the other 2 batteries come in, that would give me some more power going into winter. For those of you that haven't started stacking wood, started cutting firewood, started making preparations, better get on that. Start thinking about what you're going to do for winter, how to make winter easier. How am I making winter easier? I just bought 2 more batteries. So the AC unit will be coming out. That will save me a lot of power. That AC unit eats up so much power. And that's another thing on the solar front. Before I forget on that. 25,000 I have into my system right now. That's for this little shed. Think, if you had a 4-bedroom house and you got all your kids and they got all their iPads and iPods and TVs and game systems and all that stuff all running, your system would be dead. Your solar would not make it. You would have to have a massive solar system. So that's another thing to consider as well. With this system that I have now, it's enough to run what I want here. However, when I end up building my house eventually, I will need to double my system. So not only will I have $25,000 into solar, but I'll be up to $50,000. So that gets me closer to electric. You know, pay the money for electric to come out and save me in the long run in a way. Maybe not. Not sure yet. However, at the same time, I don't have $68,000 to have the electric brought out. So I had no choice in that aspect as well, that I just had to go with what I could afford and what could get me by. Because like I said, bought 2 batteries. I didn't have the money to buy all 6. Now I bought 2 more. And now I just finally, after all these months from March until now, I finally had money to go ahead and get the other 2 batteries. So that's another thing to consider. If you don't have the money to have electric brought out for what it costs, you might have to do a small solar system. You might have to get by. These are just different things you want to consider and think about before just jumping overboard into off-grid, jumping into homesteading, jumping into living in the middle of the woods. It's not all fairies and rainbows and glitter and cupcakes and unicorns. It's not an easy life unless you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, build your McMansion, put in $200,000 worth of solar system, have a giant in-ground swimming pool and everything that you want, and yes, you can live comfortably. However, if you don't have a lot of money, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to sacrifice, you're going to have to struggle, and slowly build yourself up over time. I finally got solar. I finally got a hot tub. I'll eventually have my house, and then slowly build and build and build and build, and then I'll be there. I'm sacrificing the time now. I'm sacrificing living now to survive. Otherwise, I get a 9-to-5 job, and I sacrifice my time, my mental capabilities, my physical capabilities, my spiritual capabilities to go to a place that I hate, to sit in traffic that I hate, to work for people that I hate, to deal with people that I hate. And it's just hate. It's like the Grinch. Christmas is coming. Hate, 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 hate. I choose this lifestyle because, like you saw, I get to look outside and I see woods. I don't see people. I don't hear fire trucks all the time. I don't hear police sirens. I don't see druggies standing on the corner of today's Homesteader Lane. I don't have to worry about burglaries, especially with these 4 dogs in here. Not like this is a big house or anything. But it's peace of mind. To be able to hop in the hot tub at night and just look up at the stars, or during the day, just lay in the hot tub and look at the birds flying by and the deer that come up through here and get the dogs all riled up. It's worth it to me. And that's where, in the whole homesteading aspect, everybody pushes everybody to homestead. The homesteading channels, that's what they do. You need a homestead. You can be self-sufficient. You can be happier. You can do this, do that, do this. But a lot of them don't talk about the mental strain, the depression, the isolation, the lack of funds, the lack of amenities, the lack of luxuries. And it's not all unicorns and rainbows. You've got to decide, do you rather struggle without the luxuries and amenities until you have the money, unless, of course, like I said, you have a lot of money, or do you want to struggle with dealing with people and druggies and break-ins and police sirens and noisy neighbors and all that type of stuff living in the city? You got to figure out which way in life you want to go. We all make our own choices. We all make our own decisions. At any given time, we can change. Like I've talked about before, I used to walk around in pinstripe suits, tuxedos, gold jewelry, go out to clubs, go out to Vegas. And yes, that made me happy at the time, going to casinos all the time. You know, that at that point, that was what made me happy. Going out with big groups of people, dancing, drinking, clubbing, partying. But in the long run, when I didn't have the money to do all that, everybody was gone except a handful of people. So it was a false happiness that I think a lot of us get taught. A lot of us are taught, go to the city, stay in the city, chase money your entire life so you never retire. You retire when you're old, and then you pass on. That's it. I mean, you don't get the time to enjoy life. Where you can say the same thing for me. I'm in my 30s. I'm out here in the woods. I'm not going on cruises. I'm not going on luxury vacations. I'm not doing all these things. So am I really living? Am I just surviving? So it's all in your mindset on, would you rather, live on a beach? Would you rather have a 9-to-5 job? Would you rather just homestead? Would you rather get a little cottage or tiny home? which I don't like tiny homes. I don't like this tiny shed. It's just something I don't care for. I like my space. Feeding fenced animals, taking care of them for years on end is very exhausting. However, it is better to live with more hardship than be surrounded by crime in cities. I agree with you 100%, Joe. And that's another thing that you got to look at too. Um, I had both worlds in my family. I had my dad's grandparents, my great grandparents on my dad's side, that lived up in Pennsylvania, and they lived like old settlers. They had no AC. They had a cinder block house, and the very little bit of my childhood do I remember. That's why I think eventually I'll have dementia or Alzheimer's like my great grandmother or my grandfather or what have you, because I don't really remember much of before 18. But I do remember, I believe it was downstairs, and they had a box fan, and that's all they did, trying to stay cool in the hot summers in Pennsylvania. And they had a little garden, and I remember going out and finding potato bugs and all that. And they did gardening, they did farming. As a kid, I did Boy Scouts, I did Cub Scouts, I did 4-H, did those type of things. I love nature. And then I want to say, like middle school, maybe into first part of high school. Like I said, I don't really remember as much. But then you started getting taught that whoever had the nicest clothes in school were the popular ones. The ones that into high school that parents gave them brand new cars or had nice cars or were able to buy nice cars, they were more popular. And we were taught, go for that 2-story house, white picket fence. Before they destroyed everything, the family unit, the 2 cars, the big job for 20 years, the retirement, and all that type of stuff. We were sold that, then they destroyed it. Now we all know what the world is now. It's all over the place. There's no structure to anything anymore. What is here today is gone tomorrow. Was is not anymore. And I just revert back to my great grandfather saying, 90% of change is bad, only 10% is good. And I agree. The world's getting worse. People can't afford stuff. People are struggling living. People not just struggling living and making, bills, but mentally, the stress and how many people just, decide to end their lives. And like I've said many times, go back to my suicide video, and just it's getting worse. And a lot of people need to find their happiness, and that's what I really want to ingrain to everybody is homesteading may not be the best thing, but it keeps you moving. My great grandparents in Pennsylvania, like I said, had their farm. They moved, they farmed, they gardened, they were out there every day. They lived up into, I believe, their 90s. Then you go to my grandfather that I took care of for the 11 months. And when I went out to visit him before he got bad or anything, when I would go out and visit and see family friends and my friends and stuff like that back east, and I would stay with him or go and visit him, and all he did was sit in a computer chair, watch TV, play on the computer, play on his phone, never went outside, never did anything. And I look at other people's grandparents that I know personally that live that same lifestyle, and they all are dying in their 60s and 70s. They're not even making it past their 70s now. And that just goes to show that when the mind's idle, the body's idle, your hands are idle, you're not doing anything with your life. You're just surviving another day. Where if you homestead Yes, it's taxing, it's exhausting, but you're keeping your body moving, you're keeping your mind sharp, you're keeping your hands moving. Um, and I think that, helps you live longer and stay in shape longer. You look at a lot of older movie stars and stuff, that some of them that are passing on at an early age weren't doing much physical wise. They start putting on weight, they start taking it easy, like the what's his name, Brennan from Tarzan or whatever. Look, he's gained a bunch of weight, not doing as good. And then you look at people like Sylvester Stallone, getting up there in age and still able to walk and talk and everything and do stuff like normal. And we just got to start thinking of that. We only have this short life. And in this short life, if you don't take advantage of what makes you happy, like this hot tub. 10 years ago, I talked about wanting a hot tub. And then at the ranch, I had went and looked at hot tubs and Adirondack chairs and all that. And I think it was like $30,000 I was looking to get all that for the ranch. And I never did that. I wanted a hot tub when I had my house built. And I never did it. And the joy this hot tub brings and the peace it brings, not to mention the jets on your neck and your back feel really, really good, and the heat soaking down into your joints and your muscles and everything else. And just to lay there and just watch the deer walk by, or watch the birds or the butterflies, look at the stars at night. It's just been a massive improvement in my life. I started getting depression this summer. After I stopped the Sunday Monday vlogs, I started getting depression because I was just cooped up in here. I wasn't happy. I start thinking back in life like we all do. We all know we do this. We contemplate what we could have done, what we didn't do, what we should have done. And I'm sitting here, I'm in my 30s. I was doing so well in my 20s, and then I lost everything, became homeless. Then I built myself back up, and then that builder took all my savings from me at the ranch when he walked off with my savings. And I started over again. And then I got here to Arkansas and started all over again. And just the slow grind and the slow build to say, once again, I just put up a thing on Facebook this morning or last night. A memory pops up of the first time I had a flushing toilet in my house on the second floor, and I didn't have to go downstairs to use the bathroom. All these years later, I'm sitting here with no running water in a tiny home with no regular house, no kitchen. And I was so much better back then. But we also got to look at it this way. 2011, when I lost everything, I was homeless. I was living in a hobo tarp tent, which I know I haven't ever put those photos up that I was talking about, where Joey, my old dog, and me were in my hobo tarp tent thing I built, and the bear came in between. I will do that when I end this video. I will put those photos up because I did clip some photos off of Facebook. And to look at that I'm not sleeping on a cot. I'm not in the elements where if it rained, everything was damp and wet. At least I'm in a hard structure. So I am better than I was at my worst. And I'm not as good as I was at my best. But that's all about the roller coaster life. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. You just got to see what you want. And that's where some people with the tiny home mentality, they have it spot on, because it don't take a lot of money to do a tiny home. It doesn't take a lot of money to buy 1 or 2 acres of land, and then you're set for life. You got your house, you got your land, you do your little garden, you do 6 chickens so you have your eggs and your meat or what have you. And life can be a lot easier. But because I want the luxuries of life, I want lights. I want big screen TV. I want hot tub. I want coffee makers. I want all this power with solar. It's going to cost me a lot more money. So am I going to get back to the top right away? No. Why? Because I have to slowly, step by step, grind away. Buy 2 solar batteries this month. 6 months later, buy 2 more solar batteries. Then buy 2 more solar batteries. Slowly build myself up. I'm losing life. I'm losing time on this planet that I can be gone tomorrow. You can be gone tomorrow. We all could be gone tomorrow. And if you think about it, 150, 200 years from now, everybody will be gone that is here today. Just like 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, no matter what you believe, however many millions or billions or trillion years ago, there were civilizations. Whatever you believe, however far back it goes. Those people's lives didn't, I know people don't want to hear this. Their lives didn't mean anything. Your lives don't mean anything. My lives don't mean anything. But what means something is having our time here on this planet. Because like I've said, if anybody in my family trees, as they split and went all different directions, if anybody died in those trees, I would not be here today. If anybody going all the way back, however far in your family tree died, you wouldn't be here today. So by some miracle, whatever you want to call it, you're here. So you should find that happiness. You should enjoy that life, because for all those generations that people worked 9-to-5 jobs or whatever, work weeks, work days, work years, whatever it was back in the day, they worked their whole lives for what they wanted, and it's gone. They can't take it with them. Their houses have been bulldozed or burned down or wiped off the planet. Their cars are gone. The clothes they buy are gone. And then the next person works just as hard to accumulate the same stuff. And then it's gone as well. So instead of worrying about money and living in debt like we know I do on credit cards, the hot tub I couldn't afford. I put it on credit cards, pay interest on credit cards, but it's changed my life. Does that debt go with me when I'm gone? No. Does the hot tub go with me when I'm gone? No. But right now, this small moment of time, I'm going to enjoy what I can while I can, because I know tomorrow's not guaranteed. So that's why when homesteaders say you should homestead, or why animal owners say you should get animals, or why beachgoers say you should get a beach house, you should. You should make that change. You should make that choice to make today count, make tomorrow count. Do what makes you happy. Do what raises your spirit. The only hard part, I would say, it's 50-50. And this is true 50-50, because a lot of you that text me, and a lot of you that call me, and a lot of you that Facebook me know that I can only do it for so long. And then I go silent. I don't keep up day to day. I don't keep up week to week, even month to month. Some people I only talk to a couple times a year, unless you reach out to me, because I'm not a social person. I know it's hard to believe. I can go to town, I can talk to a million people, and a lot of you that call me, I'm on phone with you guys for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time, which is very taxing on me. You don't know it because I do it all the time. But I know people like talking. I know people like hearing my thoughts and things like that. And they like experiencing the journey I'm going through. And you should do what makes you happy. If you want that beachfront property, do it. Do it now. Don't wait. Don't be scared. I know I have a lot of people that follow me that are afraid of commitment, of change. They lived in the same apartment for all these years and they're afraid to go to a different city. Or they've lived in their parents' house growing up and they're still there and they're afraid of moving. Or they're afraid of going to the next state. Or I know a couple of you that want to experience out of country. Some of you are looking at South America. I know a couple of you are looking at going back to where your homeland genetics go back to, like Ireland. You should do it. Yes, it's a massive change. You know nothing about it. But let me tell you this. When you were born here in America or born in another country, wherever you're from, you didn't know anything. You learned it. It's never too late to learn. And if you don't take the chance now, if you don't take the risk now, it doesn't matter. You're never going to experience it. So why not experience what makes you happy? Why not do what makes you happy now? And that's how I look at things. And I know I had a bunch of things popping up, so let me go back and look. Joe says, yes, people treat you differently when you are driving an expensive car and wearing new expensive clothes than when you're driving an old car with plain clothes. Average people don't leave their apartments and are indoors 23 hours a day, 7 days a week. No wonder they're all depressed. The system is designed in such a way that pursuing happiness is inherently against you due to cost and time of requirements. Yes, and that's the thing. When everybody is stuck inside, when everybody's doing that 9 to 5, they go to work 9 to 5, they come home, then they have to cook, or they eat crap food, then they watch TV or do puzzles or games or what have you. Then they go to bed and they do the same thing and they live that lifestyle, and they're taught that lifestyle through school. Because you go to school, you wake up early, you go to school, you come back, you do your homework, you eat, you shower, you bathe, go to bed, you go right back to it. So we're taught that right off the get-go to be structured in that aspect. And that's the biggest thing with everybody I've talked to that is afraid of change, is breaking that structure. And a lot of you have said to me, you know, they wish they could be more like me and just change. And that's the thing, you can change. Overnight, I just decided to change. Before that, I worked. I was in the military. There's nothing more structured than the military. So when I'm done, I changed. And you may say, well, I have no money to do that. Well, guess what? There's a lot you can do with no money. There's a lot of people that travel the world with no money. There's a lot of people that just buy a van and they drive around the U.S. with no money. Yes, they do side jobs or side gigs or they pander or whatever they do. But that's the thing that stops most people, is the thought about money. And if you stop thinking about the money aspect, like me, hot tub, put it on credit card. Solar batteries, put it on credit card. Don't have money, just buy the stuff. Yes, I owe money on it. I owe money here on the homestead, on the mortgage on the homestead. Now, yes, if you go too far into debt and you can't pay it back, then yes, you're going to lose everything. But then again, when I lost everything in 2011, after having a regular job and going homeless with nothing, it makes you think, well, look at all this time I have. If I want to sleep in, I can sleep in. If I want to go sit at the river tomorrow and have a sandwich, I can sit at the river tomorrow and have a sandwich. So while you're sitting at the river with your sandwich, think about how many thousands and millions of people are sitting in a cubicle right now at that moment, working while you're enjoying nature, while you're doing what you want to do, or going to the beach and sitting at the beach, or like I said, in your van or a tiny home. There's a million different possibilities, a million different ways you can do it. You can get free pallets and build a little tiny home. Very little bit of money. It may not be the most efficient thing in the world, may not be the prettiest thing in the world. But if you want to break that cycle, it's possible to do it with limited money. Go back in history. Look at the people that made sod houses. Just digging dirt. Dirt is free. You know, yes, you got to buy a piece of land. So you buy half-acre land, cut sod, make a sod house. Now, yes, the next thing is all the government overwatch, all the regulations. You can't do much in America anymore, people. But guess what? Overseas, did we not see, like the Middle East and stuff like that? All the rock houses and the dirt adobe houses and stuff like that. You can go overseas. You don't have to go Middle East. Go down South America. South America, they don't have building requirements. Go to Mexico. They don't have building requirements. Go up to like Alaska. No building requirements. Or, look, Arkansas. Certain counties, no building requirements. Luckily, I found Searcy County. I have unrestricted deed here on the homestead. You can build a pallet house. You can build a sod house. You can build a cardboard house. Do whatever your heart desires. It doesn't have to be $1 million house. If you don't need $1 million house, then you don't need $1 million. You don't need $1 million. You don't need a job that pays you $1 million. You don't have a job that pays you $1 million. You have time. And that's what all this comes back to, is time. We only have a very limited time on this planet. Use it wisely and find your happiness. And as you can see, I know a lot of you love the dogs. So I'll do one more stint with the dogs. Got Mickey Mouse to the left, Minnie Mouse. Got Chubbs. Max still in his position. For those of you that haven't seen the tiny home, as I dropped the camera, like I said, watching on Patrol Live. Let me lock that back down. Got my big screen TV. So for those of you that don't think I can work on solar, I can work on solar. You know, so the TV will pop on. Got big screen TV. Glass door that I've replaced with the solid door. I've got a window there. I've got the window here. Just put a couple screws in to hold my clothes for now. The whole solar system, breaker box. Got windows back here. Dog door, glass door, and then window there. So, not much in here. Not much at all. No, I don't have a luxury leather couch. No, I don't have, a massive house. No, I don't have the newest vehicle, nor the newest phone. I did have the newest phone for a bit, but now my phone's old. Let's see. Federal Reserve made us tax slaves, however, men are getting fed up. Got that right, Joe. And so I just wanted to come back with this Sunday, Monday vlog. I know I haven't done one for a while. And just give everybody updates on what's been happening, what's been going on, my thoughts, and the last bit. See, everybody started chiming in with comments as I got a gnat in my coffee. My coffee's cold now. I didn't even talk about the channel. So, going forward, I'm not 100% sure where the channel's going. I don't know 100% sure where this journey is going. There's still a slight piece of me. It's a confession. a very, very slight piece of me. I just want to go out in the woods in Alaska. I watch Home Free Alaska. I love that family. I love the family structure. I love them as parents. I love what they're doing. I don't like the mosquitoes. They show the mosquitoes all the time. The weather, don't care for the weather. But there's still that slight piece of me that just wants to go out in the middle of nowhere. Will I ever do it? I don't know. It's still there at the back of my head as a thing. And that's one of those things, I know I don't have forever. Do I ever decide to do it? Is the question. But for the Sunday, Monday vlogs, it's probably going to be another couple months before, well, I say couple months, we're already to August now. So maybe like another month and a half before I start Sunday, Monday vlogs up. I'll still be doing the Quorum Court and the Searcy County Fair meetings once a month when they hold their meetings. They will pop up. I know a lot of you don't watch those, but I'm doing that for the county, for the community, to be part of the community, to help those that can't make it and stuff like that. But because we still have hot weather, I'm not going to be filming much right now because there's not much to do. And then, of course, going into fall, I'm basically going to be doing a lot of tree work. I don't have money to buy fencing. I don't have money to start building a house. I don't have money for anything right now. So nothing in this journey is changing as far as making any progress, besides I'm going to start cutting trees, stacking brush fencing around the entire property until I can come up with money for something, until when the properties sell. I still have a bunch of video footage. I think I have like 14 gigabytes or something like that of videos, or 41 gigabytes, something. It's a lot of data on my phone in videos, from when I had the guy come out with the excavator and did my driveway, did today's Homesteader lane and things like that. So eventually I'll get back into editing videos. Some of these videos are going to be over a year old now from when I filmed it. It's just, I don't like being stuck on my phone. It's bad enough being stuck in here watching television or playing a video game on my computer, but I haven't got to it. For those of you that are afraid that the journey is over, that the channel is over, because I don't think since 2016 I've ever not made videos this long for my journey, not including the Quorum Court and Searcy County Fair. I know when I've had a couple rough spots, I stopped filming because I had real rough points in my life. But you don't have to worry. The channel's not going away. I'm not going to stop the channel and just cut it off. I do still plan to do this channel for the rest of my life because, like I said, it documents my life. We all know things can change, so it could go away in the future. But as of right now, I still don't want to stop filming or doing the channel. I do, however, want to get farther away from technology a little bit. I don't want to be on the phone all the time. It's bad enough, like I said, watching TV in here all day while it's hot, playing video games in here while it's hot, outside, not in here. And not being able to do much outside right now. Come fall, I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be grinding. So for all of you out there that talk to me all the time, text me all the time, for those of you that I take a bit to get back to you because I get burned out from all the communication, enjoy that communication now, because when fall and winter gets here and I'm not sweating and the ticks aren't out and the flies aren't out and the snakes aren't as bad, I'm going to be out there getting stuff done on the homestead. I am going to be changing some stuff for next year and probably for this year, for the New Year's new goal, end of year, so on and so forth. I know I've changed stuff around a bunch. It's all going to change again because I don't know what the future holds. I really wanted to get a big garden going next year or this winter, but now I'm not even sure if I'm going to do that. I'm trying to figure out what my priorities are going to be. Now that I got the hot tub, that's changed a whole bunch because I was going to try to build a bathhouse before winter. So that way, food. I know food's important, friends, but I've got a bunch of animals. So if I had to, for those of you that keep asking, no, I don't eat my animals. However, if I need to eat my animals, I have, I think, 14 cattle now. And for the little bit that I eat, like when I used to go to Colton's all the time, I get a 6-ounce sirloin. And I only eat about like half of the 6-ounce sirloin. So to have 14 cattle, that's like an entire lifetime for me to eat. And we all know they breed and produce more, and I can't get rid of them. So I have my food source set up. I just won't have the veggies set up. But yeah, it's just, life has changed. Life has had its up and downs. And like I said, I'm just super excited. I got the hot tub. Thursday, I was in it 4 times. I'm averaging 2 to 3 times a day and night. And probably when I get off this, I'm probably going to go stay in the hot tub again because it's just, it's peaceful. It's my happy place. Almost as happy as laying in bed sleeping because I enjoy my sleep as well. But I really, really, really enjoy getting out on the homestead when the weather's cool and getting stuff done. That's why I had a landscaping company and everything like that, because I like being active. I like moving. I like getting things done. I have energy to burn. I know one day, as some of you might already know, the energy's gone. Your time is almost up. You can't do what you used to do. You can't do what you want to do that you had goals of back then because it took you too long to take that choice, that risk, that chance to do it that day. You waited a day too late, a week too late, a year too late, a decade too late. Before you know it, it's a lifetime too late. And you never get another one. So, the channel's going to be here. The animals are good. Gave you all my updates. I might come back with another Sunday, Monday vlog if something happens. But until I can come up with money, like I said, I'm not out there to make this channel a million viewed channel. I'm not out there saying follow this link and that link to make me money. I'm not doing commercials for sponsorship so I make money that way. But whenever I figure out a way to make money, which is my property selling, then I'll be able to make more progress on the homestead, and then the journey will start to explode from there. Long-term goal, I will be here in Arkansas. Don't plan to leave Arkansas. Don't plan to leave St. Joe or Searcy County. I don't plan to leave this homestead. I've had several of you ask me if I sold the ranch and the restaurant and the land here, if that gave me enough money to buy a nicer property with live water on it. It would be nice to have live water. Yes, there's properties out there, and yes, after I paid off mortgages and debt and everything like that, I would probably have around about $260,000 total after paying off the mortgages, my debt, taxes, realtors. I should have somewhere around like 260. And yes, that could get me another property. I wouldn't have as much acreage as I have here because I bought this 120 acres for $165,000. Those prices aren't around anymore. So I would have to downgrade to like probably a 20 acre property to be able to have live water feature, which means I would be getting rid of a lot of animals. So no, it would be nice, but not happening for me. I'd rather take that money and put in a bunch of beautiful ponds throughout the homestead here, which people will say, well, that raises your property value. Well, that doesn't matter to me because I'm not selling it, so it does no good to me. It's just burning through money and wasting money. But I will have beautiful ponds. I'll be able to enjoy seeing the animals happier. I'll be able to have a beautiful barn for the animals. I'll have my house, which will be a great excitement. And I'll have a toilet flush video or a kitchen sink water video like I just put up on Facebook from my house when I did that, because to have running water again will make life a lot better. And yeah, so going forward, it's going to be a hit or miss if I decide to do another video or not. I'm alive. Everything's going good. Animals going good. Solar's hanging in there. And I'll make progress when I can. So with that, I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you for everybody that stuck all the way through. I see there's still a bunch of you in here. Thank you guys for the comments, the questions, the phone calls, letters, and things like that. For those of you that might ask, yes, I'm using paper coffee cups because I have no running water. And I am definitely not hauling dishes back and forth to the restaurant, because we all know I hate dishes. So yes, paper plates, paper bowls, plastic silverware, paper cups. Crappy way to live, in my opinion. Some people will say that's the best way to live because then you never have to do dishes, which I can agree with. But it is nice if I could have a regular coffee cup and things like that. But that's going to be moving forward. So with that, I hope everybody's summer is treating them well. I hope everybody's having a great summer, night, year, week, day, whatever have you. I really hope you guys find happiness. If you get depression like I was getting at beginning of this year, pull the trigger on that hot tub. Pull the trigger on that new guitar. Pull that trigger on dance lessons. Pull that trigger on new tires, or whatever makes you happy. Whatever you can indulge in that will lift your spirits from being in that sad place. And find that happiness today. We don't know if tomorrow's going to be there. And I was going to say one other news, but I think I'll make a separate video on that, because that's a different subject. So with that, I hope everybody has a great night. And like always, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.